That's probably going to be a little skinny. In fact, it is a flash. So both of these teams being caught on this ice tonight. Uncharacteristic misses we're seeing out of both these teams, and maybe just a few little runs in this ice that they're not picking up on. So Saskatchewan sitting 3 right now. Chris Eichert now will throw much the same rock he threw in the first one, just with about 8 feet more weight, 8 to 10 feet. Pretty good. Saskatchewan now has 4 counters. Now it'll be up to Geneviève Frappier to see if she can make the shot, that hit and roll. As you can see, Geneviève, she can throw it hard. Very lively rings, very lively rocks. But again, the flash on the hit and roll, she does make contact with a Saskatchewan stone there, but not the one that she was aiming at. So same scenario. Saskatchewan sitting 3. And once again, the call is made. This time it's up to Kelly Schaefer to see if she can make that freeze to the back stone. Speaking with Kelly and Chris through the first few days of this, just a lot of pride in what this curling club has accomplished in putting this event together. A lot of smiling faces around the club. This is a great curling country, as everybody knows. Hosted a couple of World Women's Championships. We mentioned that 2010 one that where Kelly met her husband. Also hosted here in 2016 at the iPlex, which is home to the Swift Current Broncos. So essentially, Kelly puts it back in the same spot where Chris had his. So we're kind of seeing the same shot over and over again. Let's see if someone makes it. Geneviève Frappier will now try again that hit and roll over. See if she gets a little fuller to the broom this time. It's going to have to curl a bit. Might have the double here, though. Will that get out? Well, that changed the complexion of the end, but still, I don't think it's going to change Saskatchewan's shot. I think they will. Nope. Now they're going to. Maybe they're giving up on that freeze attempt. Nope. Shaun's a stubborn man. He will call it again. Briefly considered seeing if they had come around that red guard, but now Kelly Schaefer just needs to add about 6 more feet. Clockwise rotation, the left-hander's out turn. Seems to be running a lot better. Got a lot of curling to do. Chris will go over and see if he can carve it over, but that might be just a little hot. Pierre-Luc Morissette, we'll see if he can drag it deep and out of play. No, it will sit for 4th shot, so the weight was pretty good. Just the line needed to curl a little more. But still, it is sitting 4 for Saskatchewan. It looks like Pierre-Luc is going to call for a corner freeze. They tried that earlier in the end. Get on top of that shot stone that's in the forefoot. Just has 2 rocks remaining, so he's got to make them count in order to cut down what is shaping up as yet another big end in this draw 5 affair. That needs to slow down, I think. Now it starts to move. Got the curl. Oh, that's really, really nice. Had faith that it would curl, and it actually did. And now it is in there for second shot, and it's not going to be removed easily. I think Shaun can see just about edge to edge. If he got to the nose with enough weight, he could probably remove it, and he would lose certainly the shot stone, but it would still leave Saskatchewan sitting 4, so it might be worth an effort in taking it on. Hey, you see on that shot there that he can see all of it. Taking a lot of ice, but probably not going to throw a ton of weight at it. But we did see on Pierre-Luc's last shot that there is movement in that path. So a big opportunity here for Shaun Meachem. His first shot here in the third end. See a good crowd behind the glass at ice level, and I can tell you there's another big crowd up here behind the glass in the upstairs portion of the Swift Current Curling Club, and lots of people in the seats on the ice level as well. So good crowd for a Monday night. Let's see if they can get that to curl. Here it comes. Might just be a little high side, and it does jam. Need to curl another 2 or 3 inches, and that would have been there, but now it is suddenly Quebec sitting 1. Key here, obviously, for Pierre-Luc Morissette is he does not want to leave a double right back to Shaun. I feel like essentially the same shot he threw on his first with the same kind of weight would work. Quebec in a 4-3 lead, coming off a 4-ender in the second end, and it's been all Saskatchewan this end until Pierre-Luc Morissette's last shot, his first shot of this third end. Now he's got a chance to potentially put himself in good shape for a steal. Just cannot leave this stone anywhere that's available to Shaun Meachem to throw a double. That's a little light and tight, though. And how much of that stone? Well, not much. Boy, oh boy. Could play the pick there, potentially. Play kind of a lightweight shot and see if he can get 2 on it, but I don't know if there's enough movement in the ice to do that. From the hack, you could probably see an inch or 2, 2 or 3 centimeters. There is the in-off off that red stone that you see at about 10:30 up on the clock. That's a tough shot, though, too. Then there's a risk-reward element to it as well. That will be the shot they play. The worst they can do, really, is give up 1. But if he makes it, you're putting 5 on the scoreboard, which seems to me the classic definition of risk and reward. So here we are, final shot of this, the third end. Draw 5 here at the Canadian Mix. Shaun Meachem, Saskatchewan skip. Playing the in-off, needs about a quarter of a rock. Calling the sweep on. In, off, and it is 4 on the scoreboard. These teams are trading haymakers. 3, 4, 4, and that makes it a 7-4 lead after, get this, 3 ends here at the 2023 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. What's next? We'll find out after this here when we come back right after this break. All right, let's all take a deep breath. Yes, that is the scoreboard that you see in the background. 7-4 for Saskatchewan after 3 ends. And all you can say is, what else is in store here at the Swift Current Curling Club and what's just been a wild night on Sheet D here at the Canadian Mixed. As Team Quebec, Team Saskatchewan just going back and forth. As Saskatchewan's got the converted touchdown on the board. Quebec coming back with a couple of safeties. We're underway here in this 4th end. Corner guard was played by Quebec, and we'll see if they can generate something in response. They already showed they can. We'll see TJ Heikert try and protect that rock that was thrown her first one, top 4. Reminder, we'll be on the air 3 more times tomorrow at the 2023 Canadian Mixed right here on Curling Canada Plus. And a reminder, you can see all 4 sheets streaming thanks to our friends at Curling Stadium. Take your pick of games. We'll be having a full commentary on one of those games, but there are 3 other games that you can always choose between. And obviously, there's the ability to see all 4 sheets at once as well. So lots of great viewing opportunities here on Curling Canada Plus and Curling Stadium. We'll be broadcasting tomorrow at 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 6 p.m. Those times are all Central, which converts to 11 a.m., 3 p.m., and 7 p.m. Eastern. So lots of ways to watch the 2023 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship this week in Swift Current. And of course, if you're here in Swift Current, we urge you to come on down to the Swift Current Curling Club and join us and enjoy the action live and in person. So a couple of corner guards up there for Quebec. This is kind of one of those classic ends. 2 corner guards, 2 rocks in the center for the team without hammer. We'll see how this plays out. But based on the first 3 ends, I suspect there will be points scored. So now Pierre-Luc Morissette will ask Samuel Richard to remove that top guard. mentioned some of Samuel Richard's work that he does off the ice. Now here's a good one, and I challenge anybody to find a more fascinating biographical detail. Samuel, he works as a biologist as well, working in ecological studies and land decontamination, but he's also the president and founder of a company named, get this, Insectivores, still with me, which sells insects for human consumption. And yes, that means exactly what you think it means, to eat. I talked to him before the game. They're mealworms, and they're high in protein, and they're used in all sorts of places. And in fact, I've personally seen mealworm candy, so I can't say that it's totally out of nowhere. But also helps raise awareness about insects in schools and public events. So fascinating job. And for the record, I did ask Samuel what his pregame meal was, and it was lasagna. So no, he did not throw down any insects before the game. But this is a fascinating man, and all I know is I want to know more. He's obviously curling pretty well. But there is 2 Saskatchewan stones in the 4-foot, and Samuel Richard now will try and see if he can draw up to one of those. Nice weight here from Samuel. And just gets by and nestles up to that rock and sits biting the button. Nice throw by Samuel Richard. Now we'll see if Kelly Schaefer can follow that down. That's a nice throw as well. So lots of action in that 4-foot. One lonely red in between all those yellows. Here's Geneviève Frappier. Trying to get by that top center guard. And it will wreck on the guard, but does open it up, so not a bad outcome. As we always say, got to figure out the right way to miss, and that was maybe not the desired outcome, but not a bad outcome either. And lots of reds out there to raise in if necessary, but it is still Saskatchewan controlling that 4-foot. Looks like the call is to ask Kelly to maybe play the raise, the short raise, to remove that red stone that's biting the button. Not touching this now. Chris Heikert's going to try and see if he can get it to curl a little more. And the raise is there, but the hit is not. And it is still Quebec sitting shot, biting the button. So still sitting shot is Quebec, and that's going to be tough to remove, but I think it's looking like Shaun Meachem's going to try and pick it out of there. A 7-4 lead here for Saskatchewan. Never say never. This could still turn into a 3-ender for Quebec. If Shaun Meachem isn't careful on this, he's got to hit it the right way. Because we do see Quebec is sitting first and third. So this is an important shot for Shaun Meachem. First rock of this fourth end. What has been a thrilling game so far. Not touching this. And the jam. And look out. Chance now for Quebec to hit and sit 3. And you see those 2 Quebec stones that are counting are buried. Big shot here now for Pierre-Luc Morissette. See what he can do. That rock is available. Nothing really in the way. And a great opportunity, as we've seen throughout this game, to answer back after giving up a 4-ender. And he will make the hit. A little bit of a roll. Just a sliver buried. This is a big shot here. It seems like we've been saying that every time Skips have been throwing shots in this game. But sitting 3, Shaun Meachem has got to make that go away. And is his best opportunity to play the hit, or does he want to draw into that? If he draws into that, that's a risk of giving up 4. See what the call is. It looks like they are going to play the draw. At least that's where the broom is for Kelly. Scary draw to throw, though. We saw last time when Quebec scored its 4, it was a very similar draw that Shaun was throwing, and it dove over at the last second and rubbed into the open and gave Pierre-Luc Morissette the open hit for the 4. So we'll have to see if that is corrected this time around for Shaun Meachem. You can see he is really questioning things in the hack. He gets TJ and Chris to switch sides to put Chris on the side where presumably he can get the rock to curl more. That is his thought process, that he'll need the finish on this. And now he'll come back down and they'll have another chat. And worth noting that Saskatchewan is below 15 minutes now for time for the rest of this game. Each team gets 30 minutes of thinking time. 2 timeouts. Saskatchewan has yet to use a timeout, but certainly they've used a lot of their time already. They're going to have to be conscious of that for the rest of the game. Initially, it seemed like the call was to draw up to that Quebec shot stone that's biting the button. But appears to be some indecision out there. Now he's going to tighten up that ice and play some weight at it. Final shot for Shaun Meachem underway. They're not touching this. Now TJ's going to try and see if she can get it to curl a bit, and it will remove one of the stones, one of the Quebec stones. But I think there is a shot for 3 for Quebec here. Going to have to get across the face of this. Should be able to, and protect that stone at the back 4. So of course, a shot at 3 for Quebec to tie this game, and it's like the first 4 ends wouldn't have happened. But he's got to make it. It's not an easy shot. He's got to be very careful with the line. It looked like he set it out just a little bit, but they're not touching this. Wonder if they'll get to. They need some curl. Here it is. Finally, they're going to try and carve it over. Will it? It will not. So they will get the point. But could have been more, but it will be 1 point on the board for Quebec. The first single of this game, but it will be a 7-5 lead for Saskatchewan. The teams will take their 4th end break. We will too. We'll be back after a few minutes here to the Swift Current Curling Club for the Canadian Mixed Curling Championship.
We're for agriculture, for growers, doers, whatever it takers. We're for doing things with purpose. We're for the little guy with big guy dreams. We're for agriculture. We're for you. Nutrien Ag Solutions, leading the field.
The Men of Curling calendar is more than a date provider. Each edition is packed with beautiful images and tons of curling information too. Support curlers and charity by buying yours today at curlingcares.com. The Men of Curling calendar is back for 2024. 18 curling athletes from 4 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
Swift Current is great because everybody that we do business with, we know on some sort of personal level.
What I love about Swift Current is the vibrant arts and culture community.
I really like Swift Current. We are not a big city, but the size of the city is really good and we have everything.
Swift Current is a great sports town, great teams and great fans.
People say, good morning, hi, how are you, even though we don't know each other.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
The Men of Curling calendar is back for 2024. 18 curling athletes from 4 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
And welcome back to the Swift Current Curling Club as we head into the 5th end of this wildly entertaining game between Team Quebec and Team Saskatchewan here at the 2023 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. And it will be Saskatchewan that has a 7-5 lead and last rock advantage here in this 5th end after a rare one-ender. Recap of the scores: 3 in the first end for Saskatchewan, 4 in the second end from Quebec, 4 back from Saskatchewan in the third end. And then potentially Pierre-Luc Morissette, the Quebec skip, had a shot at 3, but just needed to curl a little more. And there was a jam, but he does take 1. But now Saskatchewan with that 2-point lead. Both these teams come into tonight with 1-1 records. You got to think that this may have a bearing on who advances into that championship pool. 4 teams for Pool A, 4 teams for Pool B will go into the championship pool, and from there, that'll be whittled down to the 4 semifinalists that will play in the playoffs. There's a quick look at the scores. Sheet A, it was Northwest Territories with a 4-2 lead on British Columbia playing the 5th end. Sheet B, Ontario in a 2-1 lead over Nova Scotia. That's a close game. It is Nova Scotia with hammer in the 5th. And on Sheet C, it's Alberta taking a 5-1 lead on New Brunswick. Steal of 2 in the 4th, steal of 1 in the 3rd put Alberta into that lead over Team Charlie Sullivan of New Brunswick. And on our sheet, as you can see, that line score really leaps out at you. And lots of rocks in play, lots of fun shots to watch, that's for sure. Been a fun game to talk about and describe here on Curling Canada Plus. Now a chance to get one behind those center guards. Chris and Kelly trying to get it by. It'll just rub on their own stone that's in the top 12. Had good weight, just needed to be an inch or two wider. But you can see that there is a lot of movement in this ice. It's a shot that definitely lends itself to offense, or a sheet that lends itself to offense. But we knew that coming into the 2023 Canadian Mixed. Great ice conditions, great stones here at the Swift Current Curling Club, and they did get textured just before the event started here on Thursday. Chief Ice Tech Jason Broughton and his crew have done a really wonderful job putting this into championship shape. So it looks like the call for Saskatchewan will be trying to clear out some of that stuff out front. Chris Heichert, the man they call Hatch, play a peel on that high center guard. So it is Saskatchewan sitting 2. Let's see what Pierre-Luc has in mind for his second Samuel Richard. They'll go to the other side, try and get one into that forefoot region. Just getting a sense of the weight. Talked about these Quebec teams that have won Canadian Mixed Championships. Quebec looking for its 5th Canadian Mixed Championship. First one to win one actually was in 2001, I believe. Let's see how my memory does. It was 2001. Man you may know about, Jean-Michel Menard, former Brier champion. And then Jean-Michel Menard did it again 19 years later. That took place in Canmore. My mistake, he did it 20 years later in Canmore, won the 2021 Canadian Mixed Championship. That was the second of the 3 in a row that Quebec teams won. Jean-Sébastien Roy, Amélie Blais, Dan Deward, Brenda Nichols, they won in 2020 on home ice in Saguenay, Quebec. 2021 in Canmore, it was Jean-Michel Menard, Marie-France Larouche, Ian Belleau, and Annie Lemay, Jean-Michel's wife. They prevailed in 2021, went on to win the world gold medal, as did Jean-Sébastien Roy. Both of them won gold medals at the World Mixed. And then last season in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, is Félix Asselin winning the gold medal with his teammates, Laurie St. George, his brother Émile Asselin, and Emily Riley. They went on to win a bronze at the 2023 World Mixed Championship last month in Aberdeen, Scotland. So 12 different players for Quebec have won Canadian Mixed Championships over the last 3 years. And this team looking to become historic in the sense that one province or territory has never won 4 consecutive Canadian championships with 16 different players, 4 different teams. So that removes and releases some of those stones. Quebec sitting 2nd and 3rd, but it is Saskatchewan, 1 buried. Looks like there might have been a pick on the ice based on the way that TJ Heichert was going and cleaning things up. And pretty easy call here for Kelly Schaefer. Just remove that Quebec stone. See if they can get a little flop. Trying to avoid the jam, but look out. That's exactly what it does. Will that get out? It will not. And now it is Quebec sitting 1st and 3rd, and a hit on this will give them 3 in the rings. And they would love to get a force right back out of Saskatchewan. Sammy Richard going to work. They don't want to give that jam right back, but that'll be a nice shot. Good sweeping there by Samuel Richard, and it is Quebec sitting 3. Double takeout being called here now for Kelly Schaefer. Get the nice roll over. Does it move it off the rings? I don't know. Talked to a few local club members, and they say these rings are pretty true, so. I think that is on the rings. That'd be my guess from 180 feet away. We'll see if that comes into play later in the end. I kind of doubt it, but we'll see, especially with Saskatchewan having last rock in this 5th end. Pierre-Luc Morissette will play his first shot of this 5th and make a play on that Saskatchewan stone. That is half into the 12-foot. Trying to avoid the jam. It does jam, but that's okay. And well, that go right over there. Now that puts an interesting scenario there. Now, those rocks behind the corner guard, you think sets up the possibility to draw up to it, but I don't think Shaun Meachem likes that setup very much, so he will play the hit on it. New path, though. I haven't seen too many rocks thrown down this side of the ice. Certainly not with weight. Not that he's going to throw a ton of weight based on where Kelly is holding the broom. If he gets to the nose, though, that's not going to be a gimme for Quebec to remove either, though. And he does. And now, how does Quebec deal with that? Maybe just this. You got the choice of the hit, or do you draw around the corner and see if you can get a force? Giving it a long look. If he can somehow make the hit, hold the shooter, that is a tough double in blanks. So that would be the ideal outcome here for Quebec. Not an easy shot because you would have to hit just on the outside of nose to avoid removing the rock that's counting at the back of the house, the very back. But obviously job number 1 is to remove the Saskatchewan stone first and foremost. So it's got to curl a bit. Oh, very, very nice shot. Now, does Shaun Meachem take on the blank attempt, or does he just draw and take that 1 point for a 3-point lead? Again, it's a risk-reward scenario. Blank would be really good here. It'd be certainly preferable to taking 1, just so you can have hammer in the 6th end with a 2-point lead. But 3-point leads are never a bad thing either, especially with only 3 ends to play after this, and that seems to be what Shaun Meachem has decided. Just needs to touch the 8-foot to get a single. But that would also be considered a victory by Quebec to get the force right back and hammer. And they have certainly showed they can put crooked numbers on the scoreboard this game. Last shot, 5th end, Shaun Meachem with the draw. Chris and TJ Heikert just keeping things clean, giving it a little scrub here and there just to make sure nothing goes awry, but looks pretty good. And it will be a single point for Saskatchewan. And an 8-5 lead, and Quebec will have last rock advantage in the 6th end when we come back right after this.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
The Men of Curling calendar is more than a date provider. Each edition is packed with beautiful images and tons of curling information too. Support curlers and charity by buying yours today at curlingcares.com.
Welcome back to the Swift Current Curling Club as we head into the 6th end of this draw 5 game between Quebec's team Pierre-Luc Morissette, representing 3 clubs in the Montreal area, as well as a club in Trois-Rivières. They're taking on team Shaun Meachem from the Swift Current Curling Club and the host team as Team Saskatchewan. And this end starting much the same way that most of the ends have started. 2 rocks in the 4-foot, corner guards up. As Pierre-Luc Morissette will ask for that second corner guard from his lead. Allison Davies mentioned the 3 clubs that Team Quebec is representing, the Jacques Cartier, Rosemère, and Glenmore clubs, all in the Montreal area, as well as a club in Trois-Rivières. Hoping that rock does not creep into the rings, and it does. So that means it is now available to be hit by Saskatchewan. This will be second, Chris Heikert. We'll keep an eye on the time clocks. As mentioned, Saskatchewan has used significantly more time than Quebec. They should be fine. 11 minutes and 20 seconds left right now, so that should be more than enough time to get through essentially 2.5 ends that are remaining here. Clocks would, of course, be reset for an extra end if we get there, based on the way these teams have played. Never say never. That rock will just come into the rings on top of those Saskatchewan stones, but certainly not frozen, so this should be fairly routine for Chris Heichert. But it is a miss. Removes one of his own stones. And the Quebec stone remains in the rings. So maybe a crack in the armor that Quebec can take advantage of. Just how they do it will be the question. They've had guards up for the most part that has helped them generate their multiples in the past few ends. Only the one guard in play right now, and it still is Saskatchewan sitting first and second. That's going to come a little bit deep. And that's wide open, so we'll see Saskatchewan just try and remove it from play. Pretty simple game plan here for Saskatchewan. Just make Reds go away. Now maybe the little bump or split is the call. Pierre-Luc Morissette looking for a way to generate something more than a single, but Saskatchewan doing a good job on defense, which seems ironic to say in an 8-5 game, but this end they are definitely defending better. Deuce is still on the board here for Quebec. It's definitely in play. Looked like the split was the call for Geneviève Frappier. And to get across the face, and no, it does not, and it will come out the back, so just over curled there for Geneviève Frappier. Now, it's like Saskatchewan's going to call a timeout, discuss what to do. I mean, it's a good situation, obviously, sitting 2 in the forefoot, but wondering how they can remove that Quebec stone, because there's definitely backing behind it. A couple catchers that they would have to be careful with. Seems like a simple call here, but a lot of implications. Again, those rocks behind the red stone, got to be respectful of those, because those would a lot of jam possibilities that have to be dealt with. Good timeout, I think, here for Saskatchewan. And do they even think about the draw? And situations like this always remind me of something that a longtime curling coach Bill Sherhart once told me. I always remember this in an interview I did with him years and years ago. If there's any doubt in your mind, any doubt whatsoever, just throw it through. And of course, I don't think he was meant to be taken literally, but the idea being have a plan, commit to it, and stick to the plan, and don't have any doubt when you settle down in the hack. And there's the call. It is the peel of the guard, which probably, I think that's might have been the call you might have deferred to immediately, but you see that red stone in the rings and you think you want to get rid of it. But that guard certainly had the potential to cause problems for Saskatchewan. And it's kind of a challenge to Quebec. Now, what do you do? Now, it looks like the call was made for the guard, and then all of a sudden Kelly changed her mind in the hack. So now they are going to play the draw. Fascinating couple of minutes watching Team Saskatchewan hash out their strategies. That is not light, and that might be to the back of the rings, and Pierre-Luc Morissette will take it to the back 12. And now what? What does Quebec do in response? They have hammer. They are sitting third shot. Jean-Pierre Frappier. Looks like the draw is the call. Essentially, much the same shot that Kelly Schaefer just tried. That weight looks better than Kelly's. They'd love to get it to the face of that stone that's biting the button. It's got to curl a bit. Don't want it to bump, and it is going to bump out into the open. Not bad, but certainly playable for Saskatchewan. And as you saw the indication from Kelly, I don't think they'd be disappointed to lose that stone that's at the back of the button, their own stone, because that really is in a position that helps Quebec more than it helps Saskatchewan. So nose hit maybe just a little bit on the high side. Got to be careful though, it could jam onto one of those stones at the back of the house, the red stone that they're trying to remove. If it makes contact with that Saskatchewan stone that it's corner frozen to, or almost corner frozen to, it could certainly jam on that rock that's at about 730 on the lower left there. I'd like to get this to the high, just come across the face. There it is. Really nice throw by Shaun Meachem. There was a lot of potential problems with that, and he made it just about as well as he could have. Now, how does Quebec turn this situation into two? It is Saskatchewan sitting 3 right now. And it is Quebec trailing by 3 as we play this 6th end. There's not too many places to hide. Coming across the face of that shot that Shaun just threw might be an idea, but Also, you can come through that port that they're looking at, where the two between the corner guard and their own stone in the 8-foot. Maybe get a little inside flop on that as well. No real time concerns for Team Quebec, by the way. They got lots. Although it's getting down, actually, now that I look closer at it, they've taken quite a bit of time in this end, so they're getting close to where Saskatchewan is. They haven't taken any timeouts. So I believe they're going to make a play on that stone that Shaun Meachem just threw. See if they can somehow come across the face of it and roll in behind their own, or even towards those other yellow stones that are a little bit of a pocket on the right-hand side of the 4-foot. Maybe even the raise on their own. Yeah, definitely the raise on their own. Pretty good. Hard to say, though. I think it still is Saskatchewan sitting 1-2. Still having troubles figuring out how Quebec can score 2 on this. That rock that was just raised would seem to be the only potential outcome. And you'd have to throw one really hard to come off that red and somehow go straight sideways and remove the shot stone that Saskatchewan has just off the button there. Shaun Meachem, Kelly Schaefer, trying to think about their options here. I think they're going to try and take something away, try and take that shot I just mentioned, put a guard up, or even freeze right up to that, come across. You can see how much ice Kelly is taking there. Tells you great things about how this ice is holding up. Lots of curl here. So essentially just corner freeze to the stone that was just raised into the corner freeze onto those yellow rocks, if that makes any sense. Essentially where Kelly is putting her broom there, right around there would be a nice outcome. Got to curl up a mile, though. See if they get the little rub. Does. Now, Quebec. Last rock. How in the world do you score more than one? That's about the only way, I think, is to hit that 3/4 right there. And Samuel just showed with his broom, and see if you can push your shooter sideways enough to remove that Yellowstone that Samuel Richard is just cleaning a path for. That was Pierre-Luc Morissette cleaning a path for, but he's going to have to throw this. I believe the technical term is really, really, really hard. Hit it right where the broom is. Clockwise rotation, in turn, I would believe, would be the throw, the turn here. And here it comes. Trying to keep it straight. Samuel Richard. Looks pretty tempting. Oh my. I'll tell you what, that is a fabulous curling shot by Pierre-Luc Morissette. Called and made. That one is one of the better shots we'll see all week here at the Swift Current Curling Club. A deuce on the board for Saskatchewan. And just this back and forth game keeps getting more twists and turns, and looking forward to these final two ends. We'll be right back after this.
We're for agriculture, for growers, doers, whatever it takers. We're for doing things with purpose. We're for the little guy with big guy dreams. We're for agriculture. We're for you. Nutrien Ag Solutions, leading the field.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
The Men of Curling calendar is back for 2024. 18 curling athletes from 4 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
Welcome back to the Swift Current Curling Club. And wow, what a first 6 ends we've seen. Plot twists to beat the bank. It's been unreal curling between Saskatchewan's Team Shaun Meachem as well as Team Quebec's Pierre-Luc Morissette. It is an 8-7 lead for Saskatchewan, and they do have last rock in this 7th end, but Quebec has to take some momentum out of that last shot from Pierre-Luc Morissette that pulled a deuce out of thin air to make it a 1-point game. Just a wonderful, entertaining game of curling here at the Swift Current Curling Club. So we'll see what these teams have in store for us over these final 2 ends, but I suspect it's going to be something special. As we see TJ Heikert's second shot of this first end. A couple of center guards sort of staggered up there, and now Saskatchewan will get a couple of rocks behind them, looking to generate some points here in this 7th end. But job number 1 for Quebec will obviously either be to steal or get the force. Take a look at some of the other games in progress on this Monday night in Swift Current as we watch Samuel Richard's shot here in the 7th end, looking to try and see if he can get one behind those rocks, and coming up maybe a little light. Will they get it by? They get it by the guards, and it'll just be corner frozen to that rock that's biting the 12, biting the 8. Good position there, and there we see sheet A, and it is the Northwest Territories coming off that dramatic win earlier today over Alberta. Jamie Cooey's team from Yellowknife up 6-2 on Team Cameron DeYoung from British Columbia, from Victoria. Sheet B, tight game here. It is Ontario, Team Scott McDonald out of St. Thomas, battling Team Ontario, and it is Ontario getting a deuce. Pardon me, it was Ontario getting a deuce to take a 4-2 lead on Nova Scotia, Team Paul Fleming from Halifax. And on sheet C, it's a deuce for New Brunswick's Team Charlie Sullivan, and they are down 7-3. And I believe they have shaken hands, and that will be it. It is a 7-3 win for Alberta's Team Evan Van Amsterdam from Edmonton. A good bounce back for Alberta after a tough loss to the Territories earlier today. And on our sheet, no shortage of drama and big shots and rocks in play. It's an 8-7 lead for Saskatchewan. They do have last rock here in this 7th end. The guards put up there, but good chance to make a lot of those Quebec stones go away. Saskatchewan would love to get the blank, and if they can make this triple by Chris Heikert, he can certainly throw it hard enough to generate the triple. That puts the blank in play, and that would be a great outcome for Saskatchewan. Hammer in a 1-point lead in the 8th end. But it is a jam, so it does remove the guard, but still a couple Quebec stones at the top of 12, and those are in what you would call the control zone, especially when you see that Saskatchewan's only rock in the house is at the back of the 4-foot. So it's not a great situation for Saskatchewan, even though they do have hammer. And Pierre-Luc will ask his vice skip, Geneviève Frappier, see if she can utilize that Saskatchewan stone and see if he can get her to freeze one up to it, and that would be behind cover as well, putting that steal into play if Geneviève can make this shot. Gonna have to work on this to get it by. It might be a little light. Guard's not terrible here, though. That'll play. Double will be the call here, though, by Saskatchewan. Kelly Schaefer, she can certainly throw it hard enough to make a lot of rocks move in a hurry, too. So this ice is really conducive to both genders being able to play just about any shot. Some curling ice you'll find is awfully heavy, and some of these shots aren't available to the women just because they physically can't throw it as hard, but not this ice. Anything's out there, but that shot is thrown well by Kelly Schaefer, and not the double, but it certainly pushes that red rock to the side and out of that control zone. Still an opportunity here for Quebec, though. Geneviève Frappier will try that freeze again. A little better weight on this one. See if this can finish nice. Trying to drag it just a little bit further. They'll just over curl a bit, but still a nice outcome. But it does open the door to see if Kelly Schaefer can follow that down. This is kind of one of those tests for curlers, isn't it? Where you throw the big weight on the first shot and then control yourself and see if you can throw that button weight on the second one. Just one of those skills that a lot of people don't think about. But high-level curlers, they can do this, but boy, oh boy, it takes a lot of practice. DJ and Chris going to work on this. A little bit light, it looks like. And now, that is not a great spot if you're Saskatchewan, because it certainly opens the door now for Quebec to see if they can get another one into that button region behind staggered guards. Pierre-Luc Morissette now, coming off just a great deuce this last end. Now a chance to put on pressure to get a steal, tie the game. So they should know this line by now. But not touching it at this point. Did he get it just a little bit wide? Set it out a bit, I think. That will drop back into that back four. And now advantage goes back to Saskatchewan. Shaun Meachem now, he'll have a chance to draw into that pocket. All that said, again, forcing Saskatchewan to one would not be a bad outcome for Quebec. 2 down with Hammer, coming home. And we have seen that they can score big numbers in this game. So it's all about who's going to blink in these last couple shots of this 7th end. Seem to like the weight. That's about line. That's not going to curl at all. Looked like the weight was really good. Now it'll just finish a little bit, but still. It is still Quebec with shot stone. They're just not getting that late finish. Maybe Pierre-Luc will tighten up the broom, but I think it's a matter of just throwing it pure. Not setting it out, as they say, just essentially throwing it a little bit wide of the broom. Just throw it pure right at the broom and believe that it will curl. Great opportunity here to nail down this steal for Quebec. That would be huge at this stage in the game. Just does not want to leave his stone in a spot that gives Shaun Meachem a shot at a double. Even light is better than too heavy. Or here it goes. They're going to get it by that top one. Yes. Now the little inside wiggle off the Saskatchewan stone. My goodness. That is a fabulous shot. Pierre-Luc Morissette. And now we saw Pierre-Luc manufacture some magic with a big weight takeout with his last one. Now what can Shaun Meachem do? Saskatchewan sitting a couple at in-off. He made one similar to this earlier in the game. Roughly the same spot, too. A little steeper angle, I think, on this one, but Not a gimme that he would score either. But what other options are there? That's the question. He could even draw on top of it, give Quebec the single, and take Hammer into the last end. But he looks like he's going to play that in off that he played earlier in the game. Final shot, 7th end. The in-off attempt by Shaun Meachem. He's made one of these already tonight. Chris Heichert working hard to keep this line. And my goodness, he overcooked it looked like, and that is a steal of 2 for Quebec. Did not see that coming, overswept. It just did not finish the way they expected it to, and it is a 2 steal for Quebec. And it will be a 9-8 lead for Team Pierre-Luc Morissette from Quebec. Saskatchewan will have Hammer for the 8th end when we come back after this.
We're for agriculture, for growers, doers, whatever it takers. We're for doing things with purpose. We're for the little guy with big guy dreams. We're for agriculture. We're for you. Nutrien Ag Solutions, leading the field.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
The Men of Curling calendar is back for 2024. 18 curling athletes from 4 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
Welcome back to the Swift Current Curling Club, and based on the first 7 ends, we should be in for a fantastic finish here between Team Quebec, skipped by Pierre-Luc Morissette. They have taken 2 in the 6th, stolen 2 in the 7th, and they take a 9-8 lead into this 8th end, but it is Saskatchewan with last rock advantage for Team Shaun Meachem here at the Swift Current Curling Club. And we'll see which team has what it takes here in this potentially final end. Just update you on one score that we reported as a final. It was, in fact, an 11-3 win for Team Alberta over New Brunswick. They did score 4 in that 7th end to prompt the handshake. So 11-3 final, Alberta over New Brunswick. Reminder, we'll be back on the air tomorrow. 3 games from the Canadian Mixed here on Curling Stadium with production from our friends at Curling Stadium. All 4 sheets you'll be able to watch for each draw. Those draws begin at 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 6 p.m. Central Time. That's 11, 3, and 7 Eastern from here at the 2023 Canadian Mixed Championship in Swift Current, Saskatchewan. So game on. Corner guards, center guards, and Saskatchewan with the hammer, and they'll immediately try and use that corner guard and get one buried behind. One thing we've noticed is throwing inside out, meaning center line going to the wings, has not finished great. You haven't got the leg curl like it has been from outside in, but we'll see if Saskatchewan with this home ice advantage has figured it out. TJ might be just a little bit heavy with this. Certainly cleared the guard with lots to spare. That'll end up in the back of the house. But it will be a relatively open hit, and I'm sure he can see just about all of it. Samuel Richard, the second for Team Quebec. The sweepers are called on this early. I don't know if it's going to get by the guard. Just will tickle. But not a bad outcome as it rolls it into the center. So good weight control there by Samuel Richard to get something usable out of that. But there you do see that there was some movement in the ice. He might have got it started a little bit too, but it definitely will curl. Now Chris Heichert, we'll see if he can follow with the hit and roll. Remove that Quebec stone and see if he can get a roll to the wings and protect a couple. Now is that going to get by the center guard though? Did he pinch it a little? Oh, great sweeping by TJ. Protecting her husband's rock there. Nice job, TJ. Saskatchewan sitting 2, trailing by 1 with the hammer. This will be a long deuce to protect a lot of shots to come. So don't count your chickens, as they say. Now Samuel Richard trying to take out that Saskatchewan stone. Good sweeping there by Geneviève Frappier. Hit and roll is the call here for Chris Heichert. Once again, TJ Heichert getting to work. Got to avoid the jam. Oh, great sweeping by TJ Heichert on both of her husband's shots there. And now, that rock is pretty much buried. Obviously, the short raise would be available to Quebec later in the end, but I think the smart play here is to go after the open stone. Important to hold this shooter, and ideally to roll it into shot position, because I think if they don't get it to shot position, I think you'd see Saskatchewan drawing around at those 3 stones that are near the 4-foot. And that'll roll out, so big opportunity now for Saskatchewan. It will be the draw, as we suspected. Saskatchewan sitting 1, looking to get another one behind those center guards. Kelly Schaefer, see if she's got draw weight. TJ and Chris Heichert seem to like it. Chris is going to try and see if he can get it moving in a little bit more to get it buried. Good weight from Kelly. That'll get the job done nicely. Pinches out probably a half a rock. That Geneviève Frappier can see from the house, but the call will be to see if she can set one right on top of it and make that scoring zone smaller. Samuel Richard and Allison Davies keeping a close watch on this, but will it curl enough? Now they're going to see if they can get it behind and buried. Shaun Meachem's going to take it as deep as he can. Just about 6 or so feet too heavy. Now a chance for Kelly Schaefer to throw essentially what she threw on the first one with just about a foot less weight. 3s to their own to sit a couple. It is Quebec right now sitting the second shot. Chris Heichert, TJ Heichert working hard to drag this as far as they can. Will it get by that yellow? It does not. It is another guard, but at present, Saskatchewan only sitting shot rock, Quebec sitting second. We will tell you about another final just put up. Ontario scores 2 in the 8th end for a 6-4 lead, for 6-4 win for Team Scott McDonald from St. Thomas. 6-4 win over Team Nova Scotia, Paul Fleming from the Halifax Curling Club. Quebec has called a timeout. And we'll tell you about the final, the other final that has just been posted. Team Northwest Territories, skipped by Jamie Cooey from Yellowknife. They hang on for a 6-5 win over Team Cameron DeYoung and that BC team from Victoria. So Northwest Territories stays unbeaten, 3-0 here in the early going at the 2023 Canadian Mixed. Reminder, all the scores, all the standings, all the time. You can find them on curling.ca/scoreboard. Curling.ca/scoreboard. Quebec coach Sophie Morissette out on the ice to discuss things with the team. The draw will be the call. Thought maybe they'd take on the run back there. Looks like it's just about edge on edge, but a lot of risks with that as well. So try to see if they can get one into that 4-foot region. See if they can sit second and third. Do not want to be deep on this. Light isn't the end of the world, depending on where it ends up. That looks a little heavy. Kelly's going to take it back, and it freezes onto their own at the back. So it is still Saskatchewan sitting shot. Quebec sitting second and third. That bump is what Shaun indicated he likes. We talked about time issues earlier in this game. No real time issues right now. Both teams at around 4 minutes left to play. Skips rocks here in the 8th end. So is it the draw to the side of the button, the raise? Definitely don't want to draw to those Quebec stones, because then Pierre-Luc Morissette just follows them down. And based on the placement of those rocks, I think he's shot rock, and Saskatchewan was working hard just to get one and force the extra end. This right here is what makes curling one of the greatest sports there is for fans, because it's the greatest game for second guessing and what would you do? What would you do? I don't know what I would do. But I think the draw is going to be the call. Let's see if they can get to that side button first. Just cannot be deep on this. Shaun Meachem's first stone in this 8th end of what has been just a thrilling game. It's all up to TJ and Chris Heikert. Do not want to take this deep. T-line is the call. That is pretty ideal. That's very nice. That was a gutsy call by Shaun Meachem, but terrific execution of it under pressure. Now, what does Quebec do? They can see all of that yellow stone that's at the top of the house. The one that he is just indicating that they play the raised takeout on. I don't know. I'm going to play the raise back. I just don't know that they can remove those 2 rocks in the 4-foot. I think they can remove one of them. And they'll say, hey, Shaun, go ahead. See if you can get your deuce. Here's the raise takeout being played. Last shot for Pierre-Luc Morissette. On the nose. And he will not remove. Wow, what a try. But it will be Shaun Meachem not having to throw his last rock. He will get the deuce here in this 8th end, and it will be a 10-9 win for Saskatchewan. And I'll tell you something, it's going to be hard to top this game for the rest of the week here at the 2023 Canadian Mixed. What a game. So with that, we remind you there will be 3 draws of action tomorrow, 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 6 p.m. Central. You can watch all the action all the time right here on Curling Canada Plus with our friends at Curling Stadium. Thank you for joining us tonight. This is Al Cameron saying so long from Swift Current.
Swift Current is great because everybody that we do business with, we know on some sort of personal level.
What I love about Swift Current is the vibrant arts and culture community.
I really like Swift Current. We are not a big city, but the size of the city is really good and we have everything.
Swift Current is a great sports town, great teams and great fans.
People say, good morning, hi, how are you, even though we don't know each other.
The Men of Curling calendar is more than a date provider. Each edition is packed with beautiful images and tons of curling. The Men of Curling calendar is back for 2024. 18 curling athletes from 4 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.